Most people believe that once a drug enters clinical trials, approval is almost guaranteed. That belief is wrong. In reality, nearly 90% of drugs fail before approval. Years of research disappear, billions of dollars are lost, and treatments that once looked promising never reach patients. So the real question isn't why some drugs succeed, it's why most of them fail. Drug development begins with hope. A molecule shows promise in a laboratory, it affects a biological target. Early results look encouraging, but biology is unforgiving. What works in a petri dish often fails inside a human body. This is where the first wave of failure begins. Each has thus. The most common reason drugs fail is lack of efficacy. A drug may appear effective in early studies, but when tested in humans, the benefit disappears. The disease turns out to be more complex than expected. The biological pathway may not play the role scientists thought it did. In many cases, the drug simply does not work better than existing treatments. And if a drug cannot clearly outperform what is already available, it has no futures. The second major reason is safety. A drug may work, but at a cost that is too high. Unexpected side effects emerge, organs may be damaged, toxicity may appear after repeated dosing. Some safety problems only become visible weeks or months later. Others appear when the drug interacts with other medications. Regulators do not approve drugs that put patients at unacceptable risk, no matter how promising the results appear. Another major cause of failure is poor pharmacokinetics. This means the drug does not behave properly inside the body. It may not be absorbed well, it may break down too quickly, it may never reach the target tissue, or it may accumulate where it causes harm. A drug must reach the right place at the right concentration for the right amount of time. If it fails here, development stops. Clinical trial design is another silent killer. Many drugs fail not because they are useless, but because the trials are poorly designed. The wrong patients are selected, the dose is incorrect, the study endpoints are inappropriate, or the trial duration is too short. If a trial cannot clearly demonstrate benefit, regulators cannot approve the drug, even if it might help some patients. Data must be clear, reproducible, and convincing. Human biology itself is another obstacle. Diseases are not uniform. What works in one group may fail in another. Genetic differences, lifestyle, age, and coexisting conditions all influence how a drug behaves. A treatment that looks powerful in a small, controlled group may fail completely when tested in a diverse population. This complexity destroys many early success stories. Financial and strategic decisions also lead to failure. Drug development is extremely expensive. Phase 3 trials can cost hundreds of millions of dollars. If interim results are weak, companies may stop development, not because the drug is unsafe, but because continuing no longer makes economic sense. Sometimes a drug fails simply because a better competitor reaches the market first. Regulatory expectations are another major barrier. Regulators require strong evidence that benefits clearly outweigh risks. If the data is inconsistent, if safety signals are unclear, if manufacturing quality is questionable, approval does not happen. These standards are strict for a reason, because once a drug is approved, millions of lives are affected. Even drugs that reach late-stage trials can fail due to long-term risk concerns. Regulators think beyond approval. They consider how a drug will be used in the real world, not just in controlled studies. Misuse, off-label use, and long-term exposure all matter. And behind every failure is a difficult decision. A decision to stop, to walk away, to accept that uncertainty is too dangerous. Because in drug development, optimism is never enough. Only relentless testing stands between a promising idea and irreversible harm. The truth is uncomfortable but important. Drug failure is not a sign of broken science, it is a sign of rigorous science. Every failed drug represents a question that was tested and answered honestly. Approval is not based on hope, it is based on evidence. Only about 1 out of 10 drugs survives this process. Those that do have passed relentless scrutiny, repeated testing, and intense regulatory review. They are not perfect, but they are proven. So, when you hear that a drug failed before approval, remember this: failure is not the exception, failure is the system working. Because in medicine, the cost of being wrong is human life, and that is why approval is rare.